Okay, so this is my basic sketch, right? That's how I leave my sketch, Instant Flash. So when I choose my colors, um, I typically start with the flesh color, and why is I don't really know. That's just what I do. You know, sometimes I'll start with a sweater, uh, and I use the tool to fill in. And I'm talking to you at the same time, and it's easy for me because I don't know yet what I am actually going to do. Meaning, like, there's a sketch here, but I don't know what the environment is going to be like. I don't know what the whole thing is going to be. I'm just drawing, and as I go along and I discover stuff, I incorporate them in there. Can you guys still hear me? Because I can't hear anything at all anymore. Bill, can you guys hear me or see what I do? Hello? Okay, cool. I'll keep going then. And okay, so maybe the guy is wearing a.
Yes, I can hear you. I just need to let my microphone. I need to get it off. I'm muting.
Okay. Well, I wasn't planning on doing this. I'm doing a demo from the get-go, but I might as well. You know, there's no reason not to, especially since we only have 1 hour. I can't see what you guys are asking right now, so if there are any questions that people want to ask me, Bill, can you just like, go ahead. So here I'm just like arbitrarily choosing colors, and obviously this one I don't like, so I'm probably going to change it to like a blue. Typically the ones that stay are the flesh colors. And oh, another thing you guys need to know, and I say that each time I do a demo, is like, when I do a demo and I know there are people watching, I get nervous. So I usually draw faster and better than this, but the system, the principle is exactly that. So I'm sorry, this is not going to be a masterpiece, or sometimes I'm just in a hurry and I go fast. Second is because I grew up in France and we had a lot of those types of wooden parquets everywhere. That's what we call them, parquets, parquet. And we had this like big rug in my house that was like that. It was this like kind of Afghan type of thing. So once again, here I've done this. I don't want the color to be too strong, so I take it off, or I bring it down, and then. When I have time, I love to do all those little details that go into the rugs. And you see, my line is never really clean. It's, once again, when I don't feel like I'm being observed, I relax more, and my lines are actually cleaner and clearer, especially when I get into what I call the zone. Then I don't actually feel like I'm drawing. I just feel like the image is composing itself and the story is selling itself. Oh, another point about story. Every detail I draw typically tells of a story. This is one of the reasons also I try to like draw details that I understand and I've seen in my actual life, in my experience, because when I see them, they're actually usually attached to a context, meaning I've seen this rug when I was a kid in the house where I grew up. And this house was very warm. It had windows a little bit everywhere. And it was great. So typically when I draw, actually it's pretty funny. If you look at my images and you see a lot of like light streaming through the windows, you could pretty much spot this type of rug in almost all of the images because this rug is always associated with me with like the heat of the sun. Either the cats are on it, or I'm on it, or something is on it. So. Okay. Well, I hope you guys like it. Okay. Because this is pretty much the bulk of it. So right now I'm just like building this thing right here. Okay, so now in terms of story, let me see. We'll call this good for now. In terms of story, I was thinking like, so this guy's here and he's looking at the window and he's there. So maybe he's come here to read some books. So what I do when I go and read some books, I usually get a pile of books. I don't know how you guys do it. And I take them out, especially if they're graphic novels. I'm always thinking, oh my god, I'm going to be able to read like 5, 6, 7 graphic novels or comic books while I sit by the sun. So I try to think about, well, I should take them and put them here. And sometimes I'll just, if I'm done with one, I'll put it in a separate pile. Like this. And of course, I could add more details to make the books be something more realistic. And for work, I will do that for my particular sketches of the day. Not always. Nowadays, I know that we always have like plugs everywhere, and typically we have like, I don't know, an iPhone that maybe is playing some music. If it's plugged, it will probably work a little bit better. I like to listen to like music when I read. It's kind of cool. I also like to have something to drink. And since I'm a little clumsy, I tend to put my cups further away from me. I'm clumsy in the sense like I forget things are around me, so I just like bump into them after a while. And once again, K is for Katrina, the name of my wife. We actually have this. One thing we always had when I was growing up were plants. We had plants everywhere in the house. So let's throw a couple plants in here. So here I'm going to actually might actually had some plants right here. And you see these are motifs that tend to reappear in my images quite a bit. Bill, I'm going to call this image Bill, and this is for Bill. So Bill, and so when I export it to the maximum I can. So if I do 300 dpi, actually it works so good. So it's if I pass 8,000 here, it's not going to export in a flash. So I export as a ping, so that I add the alpha channels below. And so sometimes I'll add cats because we have tons of cats and stuff, but it doesn't really matter right now. So I open Photoshop. I just got this version of Photoshop. Before that, I was actually using Photoshop Elements. Exactly the same thing for what I do. It's the only thing with Photoshop Elements that once in a while it would crash. Well, Photoshop rarely does crash. So. If you ask me why I'm using Flash from the beginning, it's just because that's the first software I learned how to use, and I was too lazy to learn how to use Photoshop to draw in. But I'm getting better at Photoshop, so maybe someday I'll be drawing all in Photoshop or in some other software. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I'll draw on paper as well. It's just just the way. It's just a software really. Up. Let's see back. E. Okay. So and just make the blue pop. This is so that your eye is actually going towards this guy, and I'll just duplicate this layer until it pops a lot. See, right now, look, blink your eye, you are going to go straight to this guy. I'm not sure if this is the best color for him, but that will work like that. So, I'll just save it and call it, that's good. Of course, once again, this one I'm going pretty fast, and I'll still do some stuff to make it come on more. But this is the principle. And by the way, it's saved here. This is really the principle. Let me see. Oops. So for me, it's almost done here. Usually, my images are done when they are posted on the web. For me, it's like unless you actually see the image doesn't really exist. So I'll create a see. This is a pretty big size. It's 2.80 centimeters high, so 2.8 high is like what it's at 8 or 9 feet tall, something like that. You can actually print it that big, and it actually will look pretty good. So I'm making a smaller size of it. But I think I explained most of what I do there, and you got the good basis of it. Is that it?
Yes, thank you, Pascal.